Hello and welcome to the Elephant Lounge. I am your host Tuesday. I want to thank you for joining me. Today is election day, so make sure you go out and vote. If you've already voted, that's wonderful. I guess you'll just have to sit back and wait and see what's going to happen. I have good hope. I think a lot of people have good hope for what's about to happen. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm praying to the Lord, baby Jesus, and we'll see what happens. I will be following along the election. The Killstream with Ethan Ralph is having a special episode today, and that will be at, I believe he said 6:30, and I want to say that's Eastern, so it'll be sometime around there. I will try and put a link for you in the bottom. He is no longer on YouTube. If you don't know what's been going on or what happened, as simple as I can put it, the Killstream was a popular show on YouTube. It was trending. It was a nighttime show, obviously. It was trending. It was like a talk show. September 29th, they did an episode that they called the Heel Stream, and all of the super chat donations would go to donating to St. Jude's, which is a wonderful charity. I've long loved that charity because I've been a great admirer of Danny Thomas, and Ethan Ralph is from Memphis, so that is a very special charity to him. A Wall Street Journal reporter contacted Ethan Ralph the other day and wanted comment about his show because, yes, there are some colorful things that are said on the Killstream. Bigoted, you could say. Yes, ugly, awful things. It's very edgy, and they entertain all forms of ideas, including the alt-right. And this is unsavory to the mainstream media, obviously, but Ethan Ralph knows that he is not mainstream. This is more of like a cult-like following where it's an underground type of entertainment, but it got a little too popular for some people, apparently. She contacts him for some type of comment. He says nothing. The next day, we all get refunds for our charity donation, including myself, by the way, which I immediately just signed into the St. Jude website and donated directly. I encourage you to do the same if that happened to you. There's no reason why our donations should not be accepted. If they need to be accepted individually, that's fine. And I don't think that it was St. Jude's necessarily that was going to turn it down until it was brought to the attention of the Wall Street Journal, because nobody wants to be an organization like St. Jude does not want to be involved in some type of drama like this. It's unsavory, and it's always been a charity that has had a clean name, right? It's always been something that I never remember anybody saying St. Jude was in some type of a scandal. The Red Cross I have, but not St. Jude. I could be wrong on that. It does seem as though, with all the information we have, it was the Wall Street Journal that precipitated this reaction by St. Jude to return everybody's money. In addition to that happening, Ralph and his co-host Zidane, they've had their channels taken off of YouTube. So now they are forced to find another platform. The day before, they went on this D-Live site, which is okay, but personally, the stream that he was doing, it was cutting in and out, and it was very choppy, and the website just wasn't quite working. I think the problem is that it just couldn't handle as many people as the Killstream has in its audience. So I think it was something like 6,000 people had gone over, and I just don't think their servers could handle it. They have now gone to stream.me, and they streamed on there last night for an hour and a half, and it was great. It worked out really great. This is a great site, and I'm very hopeful for it, and I hope everyone joins us tonight in the future, because I think this is going to be a good platform. Hopefully, it'll be an alternative to YouTube, which, for whatever reason, they give strikes to everybody for just anything. That really damages people after a while, because if you have a strike on your channel, you cannot live stream. And if you cannot live stream, you cannot get those direct donations. through super chats. And that's what helps people stay afloat on YouTube. For the most part, that in advertising. But because YouTube deems a lot of this content as edgy or, not suitable for work or whatever, they decide that, we can't allow any type of advertising on there. Okay, well, that's fine. They take 30% of these super chats. So it's not like they're not making money. They could be making money. They could make more money if they allowed for more expression and more free speech. But once you try and stomp people out, they go somewhere else. And they become even more popular. That's exactly what's going to happen here. I have no doubt. Let's talk about the next issue very quickly. The Honduras Caravan has now arrived in Mexico City, and they are headed up toward the border. But the one thing everyone seems to not talk about, not even conservatives, because, the left wants us to bring in anybody. Right? They just want open borders. And that's not realistic. It's just not a feasible thing. We have our own people to take care of. We have our own people who are suffering from drug addiction, homelessness, all kinds of mental illness and problems. We need to do something about the people here. And this idea that we're bad people because we won't let a bunch of migrants who just want to come here and storm our border. No, that doesn't make us bad at all. Why are they coming here if the United States is so horrible? This is the thing that the left wants to say. They want to say that we're horrible, we're a patriarchy, we're sexist, we're racist. Well, if we're so racist, why do they want to come here? And why do you want them here? That's one of the questions I have. But let's also talk about a very serious ramification if we let these people in, and that is the disease. The diseases that these people carry. We are talking about a third world country, a poor nation that does not vaccinate their people. They are carrying with them malaria, whooping cough, measles, tuberculosis, and a host of other things. Dengue fever, typhoid fever, bacterial diarrhea, hepatitis A, hepatitis B and C for that matter. AIDS. AIDS is a big thing as well. And we're not talking about this. Interestingly enough, it's California, shocker, that has escalated in the number of cases of things like measles and whooping cough and tuberculosis. And it has to do with a combination of immigrants coming in because they like to go to California. And it also has to do with a certain number of people who have decided that vaccines cause autism. Okay, this absurd notion that has never once been shown or proven in any peer-reviewed medical study that vaccines cause autism. So people aren't getting their children vaccinated. And it's not happening in areas, red states, for instance. It's happening in blue states. The states where everyone tries to claim that they are higher in intelligence and that they support science. Well, they don't support science. We have to figure out how we are going to vaccinate these people and get them up to the standards that they need to be. These people are going to need extensive medical care because they're going to have to go through a screening, or do we not care about that? Are we going to let these people into the general population and just hope to God they don't spread it to other people? And what about the people that rely on the herd? What about the people and the children that cannot get vaccines because they're either too young or they have another underlying medical condition that prevents them from receiving these types of drugs, these vaccines? They rely on the herd. That's what we allow them to rely on, the herd. But what happens when you thin that herd out with illegal immigrants? What happens? We have dead children. We have children dying from diseases that this country has all but once eradicated from our map. And that is sad. That is pathetic. That is inexcusable. That is absolutely inexcusable. We need to talk about this. And it's not just a language barrier, which is awful. You cannot communicate with people who don't speak your language and who don't want to speak your language. And by the way, these people are coming with a Honduras flag. They're not ready to come to America. They don't even seem to like America. They just want to come here to invade. And we're not talking about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Many of the diseases that these people have, they have from not washing their hands. So when they go to the bathroom, they don't wash their hands. And then, so what are they going to do? They're going to be serving you meals without washing their hands. Oh, but Tuesday we tell them to wash their hands. You take a person who's never washed their hands after a bathroom break for, 20, 30 years, and you expect them to just turn their behavior over overnight? They don't even understand the science of why we do that, let alone being able to communicate that in their language to something that they would understand. They're not going to just bow down and convert over to our way of life. You need to understand this. People need to understand this. I know everyone wants to think everyone's good and this and that, but their version of it doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they don't have the same customs and the same knowledge that our society has. That's why they're a poor nation and we are a wealthy nation. And for all the liberals, the left-wing elitists and Hollywood and these politicians who live in their ivory towers and never have to worry or want for anything in life, they don't live with the immigrants, you see. They don't have to deal with all of these people just getting behind a wheel without insurance and hitting people. Hit and runs. Are we talking about that? Is anybody talking about the hit and runs that these people do? Does anybody care? And who's left with the bill? Us, the workers, the regular folk who live paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, we can pay off the premium or whatever in a week or two, and then we have to hold back on maybe food, maybe our own medication, but we have to have transportation to get to work. We end up having to eat the costs that these people bring in. Can we talk about that? And the reason why I think the left is losing on this is because here's the deal. The majority of their party are working class. A lot of their party is working class. And the working class are the people that have to live with the immigrant population. And they know and they see what's going on. And it's not about racism. It's not about bigotry. It's about people not wanting to assimilate into this culture and having no respect for it. And maybe not even having the ability to assimilate. And that's a problem. And whether you're Democrat or Republican, you can see that the issue is plain as day. Look, we love immigration. There's not anybody here that I know that I can think of that's anti-immigration. I shouldn't say nobody, but I'm sure there are people out there. Nobody I personally know is anti-immigration. My family are immigrants, okay? Has nothing to do with that. But they came here legally, and they came here vaccinated, and they came here with a desire to be an American, and they came here with the understanding that they had to speak the language and they had to assimilate with the culture. So think about that, please. And I shall see you soon.